I like Miraculous Ladybug, but it's got a few problems, I must admit. And the biggest problem with its overarching plot that no one is talking about is Marinette's relationship with Gabriel Agreste. 90% of you just asked what relationship, to which I say, exactly. And to the 10% of you who just had PTSD-induced flashbacks to Marinette's ex Gabriel fanart, I'm sorry. Marinette is written as a character who isn't really connected to the main plot of her story. When you strip the romantic aspect from the show, the main plot centers around Adrienne's dad trying to use the Miraculous to wake up Adrienne's mom, turning people into monsters to do so. There's no half Parisian, half Asian brunette in the mix. Oh, Marinette is very present in episodic plotlines, what with all her classmates being akumatized like twice, becoming superheroes at least once, and a running joke is that she's caused the second most akumatizations behind Chloe. But really think about Marinette's place in the Hawkmoth storyline, and the truth is, she doesn't have one. When Hawkmoth's identity is revealed, there'll be all this drama with Adrien about his father being evil, and the need to help his mother and all this interesting stuff, and Mari will find out the guy she has a crush on's father is Hawkmoth. The show isn't even written so Marinette looks up to Gabriel as a designer for that conflict. I think she hates him because of how he treats Adrien. As she should. Her only conflict, beyond the expected stop the bad guy one, would be how does this make Adrien / Chat Noir, if she finds out his identity at the same time, feel? Now, I don't agree with the idea that Adrien should be the main character, but he literally lives with the two main villains and they care about him, even if Gabriel's not good at it at all. The finale is going to crush him like a soda can, and Marinette will be there for him. Beyond how it affects Adrien, Marinette has as much stake in Hawkmoth's defeat as this guy, apart from, finally being free from all the responsibility of fighting monsters, at least until the next villain shows up. And Hawkmoth just won't care about her. Look at his reaction in Wishmaker to finding out their identities.
Ladybug is Adrien's classmate Marinette? At last! At long last! Oh, my son!
Awesome! I always wanted to be the knitting fairy in real life!
Who the fuck are you?
Now don't misunderstand me. It's not absolutely mandatory that the hero has some strong personal connection to the villain for the dynamic to work. But the biggest problem with this is the fact that the show itself doesn't seem to want to accept that the protagonist has such a strong connection the protagonist lacks. If you don't believe me, just look at all the extra steps the show needs to take to bring Mari into plotline she really shouldn't be in, at least not until the Akuma shows up. The most obvious one used to be Volpina. Adrien found the book in his dad's study, but Black had to fail to identify it and the Peacock Miraculous so that Tiki could and Marinette could steal it from Lila, who stole it from Adrien, also she could meet the Guardian. When I put it like that, it really does sound like Adrien should have been the one to meet him. I say used to because the Gabriel Agreste episode just completely blows it out of the water. First, the kids get together and have this absurd, I can't even call it a plan, more like a discussion, to get Marinette and Adrien together so Chloe can record them through the ceiling. So Mari needs to break into Gabriel's private party to get the phone and delete the message, and Adrien, Kagami and Chloe all fail to see through Mari's absolutely abysmal disguise. Also, Marinette is actually present for the return of the Collector and all the Felix drama from the start. But why is it like this? Why is Marinette, the main character, so seemingly disconnected from everything? Adrien is the character who will be most devastated by Hawkmoth's reveal. Adrien is the one who creates suspense by unknowingly have to avoid the main villain living in his house discovering who he is. And I believe it's quite simple and not an uncommon plot point. It seems to be a matter of the plot creating a certain kind of character, but the story needing a different one. Adrien is a product of Gabriel's lifestyle, but the show is more interested in telling a story that can only be told from Marinette's point of view, as the clumsy, more upbeat and free character than Adrien's backstory would allow. The show doesn't seem to want its finale to be about the protagonist deciding whether to give in to the villain's motivation because he shares them, but the pure-hearted protagonist talking a love interest away from that really bad decision. And this isn't a bad thing, but it leads to some convoluted moments in trying to write Marinette into stories she isn't part of. Because how can the main character not be involved in all the episodes that actually progress the plot? The show itself does seem to be taking steps to address this, is making Marinette the guardian of the Miraculous was a step in the right direction, as it added a new dimension to the story that she herself is the focus of, beyond the romantic subplot that most fans seem to be tired of, though some may say the love square is the real plot of the story. Now, she actually has a connection to the world of Miraculous beyond just being the girl selected to be Ladybug. But the truth is, I think it's a little too late, especially with what the end seeming so close. Short of overhauling the dynamics of the main characters, it can't really be easily fixed. Like, did Marinette really need to be the focus of every episode? Why did she need to be involved in the Gabriel Agreste episode before the Collector attacked? Adrian wasn't involved in the Troublemaker episode until after the Akuma attack, because it'd be extremely jarring to try and cram him into it, and that's another story where the Akuma seals everyone inside the building. Look, I don't hate Marinette, which seems to be less and less of a popular opinion as time goes by. I dislike some of her writing, but I don't want them to delete her character. But the fact of the matter is, she's extremely removed from the plot, and at times it seems the story doesn't want her to be. And Adrian's existence just highlights it because of how connected he is to it. If the story wants Adrian to be involved in the Hawkmoth plotline, his dad's office is down the hall. If it wants Marinette involved, she has to contrive a reason to break into Adrian's house, which hasn't helped with the fan perception of her as a stalker. Now, this could change. Miraculous isn't over, and I am a proponent for the idea that you can't definitively judge a story before it ends. Doesn't mean you can't judge parts of it, or episodic reviews wouldn't matter, but you can't definitively judge the entirety of a story before it ends. The first part of the season 4 finale was released early, and the subtitle, Shadow Moth's Final Attack, seems to imply Gabe is about to be replaced as the main villain. Anything can happen from there, and it depends on how the writers handle it. Plus, there may be a whole aspect to this and these dynamics that I've simply missed. Feel free to tell me what you think in the comments. While you're down there, hit the like button and the subscribe button so if and when I'm proven wrong, you'll be the first to see my apology video. Thank you and good day.